Patriots, rebels, outlaws, and pirates. Now, there are a lot of people out there on the internet, on television, maybe people you know. They blow a lot of hot air. They're telling people to stand up against tyranny, but they're not taking any risks themselves. Some of you are the same way. A lot of talk, but in the end you turn over your liberty and property and comply with the wishes of your overlords. Perhaps you think the same of me. In this episode, I'm going to set you straight. My refusal to comply with my enslavement, specifically my refusal to pay for my own chains and yours, goes back to the early years of the Obama administration. So when I implore you to stop complying with those who seek to subject you to servitude and steal your property for their own profit, I have done a lot more than just burn a mask or have more than 10 people over at my home for Thanksgiving. This is also why I told you that President Trump is not our savior, that the deep state and the bureaucracy will continue to oppress us, no matter who's in office, because the whole edifice exists to support the elites in the deep state. Give them cover and make sure everyone continues to benefit from all the theft. To them, we exist to submit, to obey, and to feed their voracious appetite. Congress, the bureaucrats, the Justice Department, and the courts are all in on the game. And I've seen it firsthand. The law and the truth mean nothing to these people. The massive election fraud should be proof enough that the corruption exists at all levels for the sole purpose of acquiring and maintaining power. So what have I seen and experienced? Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution states that Congress shall not lay a capitation or a direct tax on the people. Now, I'm not going to argue in this short time about the application of the 16th Amendment. Suffice it to say that the Supreme Court in 1916 stated that the amendment did not set aside Article 1, Section 9, and that they did not give the government some new power of taxation. The founders knew direct taxes on a man's right to make a living was immoral, and to take his money and give it to causes he disagrees with is wrong. Now, I believe that, but it's not simply a philosophical belief. In the United States, it is supported by the Constitution, the law, and the income tax code itself. I will make several of my court documents available at links at the end of this for you to look at. But regardless of what the Constitution or the law says, the money to support this bloated beast needs to keep flowing. The lazy, they need to be supported. The stupid need to be bailed out. Payoffs need to be made. Chains need to be forged. So this is what I have experienced. The IRS has taken basically identical returns from different years, labeled one invalid, slapped on a $5,000 fine, and then accepted the next year's return, confiscated the refund, and applied it to the fine from the previous year. I have demanded documents that the law requires the IRS to produce and have always been ignored. They have applied laws to me that only apply to a select group of people. The Taxpayer Bill of Rights is a joke, and the courts are laughable. I have had judges say that in court, it doesn't matter what the law says. I had one judge in a case actually see my point about requirements that the IRS had ignored. That judge was quickly removed and replaced by one who would rubber stamp the claims of this lawless agency. There is no justice to be found in tax court. The federal courts are no help either. They are currently trying to confiscate my property and anything else they can get their hands on. I have experienced injustice and tyranny up close, and I will continue to fight. At this point, I risk only my property. And I know we're not the only ones, and certainly the IRS is not the only agency trampling our rights. COVID restrictions, the cancel culture, censorship, the two-tiered injustice system, it is all part of the effort by those in power to trample our rights, eliminate freedom, and destroy the foundational principles of this great nation. As a human being, I will not submit to injustice. I refuse to hold out my hands to receive my shackles. I will not turn over my property to looters and moochers. Tyranny, injustice, and evil only exist within our sphere with our consent. We have consented too long. We have let them infringe on our rights to the point where they believe our natural and constitutional rights are only exercised at their consent. If you so easily give up your property, Is it any surprise that you adhere to the most inane edicts or turn over your guns? Stop picking and choosing the rights you defend. Capitulation on one is the death of all. To stand up against a perverse evil takes guts. It entails risk. But the legacy we inherited from men who pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor compels us to real and substantial action.